folks, this is Frank from Accurate Sounds in Oceanside, California, and today we're just going to go over some basics on a mixing board. So the first thing we're going to go over is this vertical column. You see there's quite a few of them here, but they're all the same, so you only have to learn one. First thing on this is the gain, and that is the input gain. It's very important. It's used to set up how much signal gets into the channel strip, and if it's overloaded, it can be detrimental to your sound. So it's very important to get your gain structure right. Second thing is a low cut filter. There's different opinions on this, but for me, most of my instruments and vocals, the low cut filter is going to be in. Usually the only thing that's going to be in the out position is my bass guitar, the kick drum, and the keyboard. Other than that, that's usually going to be on the in position, especially important on vocals. The next part of this board are your sends. The first four, the way I set them up, are my monitor sends for my foldback monitors on the stage. And the next two go to my internal effects, which are located over here. And there's two banks of internal effects on this board. These can also be set to, instead of effects, 5 and 6 if you want to send them. So if you are going to use them as internal effects, you want to make sure the button on this particular board is in the up position. The next bank is the EQ. And I could spend hours on this bank, but basically that's your equalizer, and that's how you're going to get your sound the way you want it as far as carving holes for instruments to blend together properly. This is your mute. If you ever don't hear your channel, chances are either this is on or you don't have your channel assigned, which brings me to the assignment buttons and the solo button on this board. So these are assignment buttons. If I press left and right, it goes out to the main mix. If I press 1 and 2, it goes to subgroup 1 and 2, which is here. And then from there, I assign it to go to the main mix. So this gives you extra headroom. And let's say you're doing a drum kit. You got everything dialed in as far as your levels. You can do an overall drum kit volume level here. And I usually put my vocals on 3 and 4. So normally how I'll have it set up is all my drums will be set on 1 and 2. My bass, my guitar, any other keyboards will be set on left and right. And the vocals, as you can see here, will be set on 3 and 4. And this is just from the last gig I did, so it can kind of give you an idea. That's your basics on the channel strip. Now as you come over this direction, again, these are your subgroups, and these are where you assign your subgroups. So depending on how you're using it, I use the two. I assign one for left and one for right. You can use one, assign it for both left and right, and pan that direction. There's a lot of different ways to do this, but this is my configuration. There are onboard compressors on this particular board. They work okay. They're not the greatest, but they will stop any spiking. So I usually leave those, as you can see, about there. Let's say about 10 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock. And that just stops any extra loud sounds from coming through. But it's not a compressor really to make your vocals stand out more. It's more just for spikes. The next thing you've got is your Aux Strip. Your Aux Strip goes across here. So the first one's Aux 1. They all go over here to the Aux Master. So each one of these controls the volume of the channel you're on. They all send to this one, which controls your overall volume out of the board to your monitors. Which brings us to the next thing we're going to talk about right now, and that's going to be how do you get this sound from the board to your monitor. So you have to plug into something. So let's go around to the back of the board for just a minute. So on the back of the board back here, you see you have aux inserts and aux sends. Aux send 1 goes to that first green knob I just showed you. So as you turn aux send 1, the signal comes out of here. Most boards it'll come out either balanced or unbalanced. So a tip ring sleeve or just a tip sleeve connector will work. You run that from here to your either powered monitor or your amplifier that then powers a passive speaker. So again, out of your aux 1, from here goes to monitor 1. You go down the line. Aux 2, the second green button is going to come out here. Aux 3, aux 4, and as we discussed earlier, if you push down the effects button to the aux position, you'd have 5 and 6 here. The other thing this board has in the aux section is stereo returns. We're not going to go into that too much right now because this board does have onboard effects, and it would be an advanced class. The next thing we're going to go over on the back of the board that you're definitely going to be using is your main outs. These are going to go to your front of house mix. And I like to use an XLR cable balanced, but you can use a tip ring sleeve or a tip sleeve connector and come out of the line out. The insert on this would be if you were to be running a, let's say a front of house equalizer or sonic maximizer or something to this effect, you would run that on your insert. Okay, so that would be on your main left and right insert. This is your line output if you're going to use a tip ring sleeve or a tip sleeve, and this is your XLR output to your mains. There's a mono output on this board, which I actually do use on the back of the stage, pointing towards the drummer across the stage. It seems to be very effective. It's kind of unconventional, but my drummers seem to love it. The other thing is this board does have USB on it, so if you want to come out of your USB into your favorite DAW, you're able to do that. So that's pretty much it for this lesson, and good luck on your next gig.